Hello and welcome to the video. This is a quick video to talk about putting FPV equipment in this Dolphin that I'm building as part of my INAV for Beginners 2026 series. Now, I've done lots of things in this in the past, but I know some of you will be interested how I'm going to do it here. Now, there is the nose cone that obviously is off at the moment. I've already fitted the camera. That's got the Walksnail unit kind of dangling out the back. And I'm going to run cables along the side of the nose into the flight controller, but I thought it would be useful to just show you what I'm doing. Now, the process to set this stuff up, whether it's Walksnail, HD0, DJI 03, 04, whatever it is you're using, is pretty similar. Most of the systems use something called MSP DisplayPort. That's just a telemetry data stream that the flight controller can send to the HD system that will then create the on-screen display, the overlay that you can see when you're looking in your goggles. Now, there are only two things that we need to wire up to make this all happen, and then we need to jump into INAV itself and let INAV know that this stuff is connected. First of all is we need some kind of voltage power supply, essentially, to power the VTX. Now, most of these HD FPV systems will work on anything from 7 to up to 20 odd volts. It really depends on the system you're using and the particular VTX. They're very different. This one here can run up to 6S. However, my recommendation would be do not run it directly from the battery. I would always, if you have a power supply on your flight controller, use that instead. And this one does. This has a very nice, stable 9 volts. It'll be perfect to run my Walksnail system and stop it getting too hot. The more voltage that you put into the system, the hotter the unit is going to get. It has to dissipate that internally because it only runs on specific voltage. So do that, and also means that by not connected to the battery eliminator circuit that's creating the 9 volts inside the flight controller will make sure that 9 volts is nice and smooth. Second thing, of course, then is we're going to need a spare UART. Because this Maytech F405 V2 has loads of different UARTs on it, we haven't scratched the surface. I have lots of options to plug this in, so I don't have to worry too much about it. There's a whole bank of UARTs here in the middle of the flight controller. Probably use something like UART 3 or something like that, but I will pretty much make my mind up when I'm running the cables. Now, you can buy things like the flight controller and the Walksnail units and the servos and all the other bits that I'm using here as part of this build at places like 3DXR. I'll put a link down below so you can go and check out that store. 3DXR is here in the UK, based in the Northeast. They're one of those shops that not a lot of people will think about when they're trying to buy their bits and pieces, but they have a massive warehouse. I know I go there a lot to have a look around, and it means that when I need something, they usually have it in stock on the shelf. So just a tip, if you are looking for stuff and you're struggling to find it, particularly at the moment with some of the supply issues coming out of China, check out 3DXR. They may have it. So if we take a closer look at the unit, again, this is how I've installed the camera. I've cut 2 slots and lifted the back part up. I will share all of the designs for the different pieces here on the Thingiverse page. I'll put a link down below. I created these 2 pieces, and that means that the camera is above the normal mount. That's going to be used for airflow to keep this Walksnail unit cool when it's flying. And then at the front of the model, I've created this piece here, which is actually what the Walksnail unit is going to sit on and be held in place with a zip tie. The cable that plugs into the Walksnail unit, I've terminated at each end. So we have a JST style power connector for the power, and then the other side we have DuPont servo style connectors here. I've just crimped both of these on. I do have a video on crimping, so if you don't know about how to do that, check that out. I could have soldered them, but I like the ability to potentially, as I've done with the flight controller, move things around in models and upgrade and replace things. Then I have 2 bits of wire which have been cut to length that are going to run along the side of the model into the flight controller itself, and the wiring is going to be done as per this diagram. And in fact, UART 3 looks like a really good candidate here for us to set up as MSP DisplayPort. So with that bit of wiring in place, then it's time to go on the bench and have a look at what we need to change in INAV to get this to work. So here inside INAV, setup is really, really simple. And if you're used to Betaflight, there's potentially a few less steps. The first thing we need to do is we need to go into the ports tab and we need to configure one of the UARTs for MSP DisplayPort. Now, as I said, I've plugged mine into UART 3 at the front of the flight controller. So that's the one I'm configuring as MSP DisplayPort. Once you've done that, click Save and Reboot. Then when you jump into the OSD tab, when it reboots, on the top right hand side, the video format will have changed from PAL to NTSC, which is what it is by default. By the fact you have set up MSP DisplayPort, INAV now knows that we're going to play with HD FPV. And here we have all these other options for HD0, DJI WTF, Avatar, which is what I need for my Walksnail system. And then we have a couple of others here for Betaflight 4.3 compatibility for the older DJI stuff. And then there's some other pieces too, but I'm going to keep it as Avatar. The nice thing about this is that once you have selected that, the screen will change. And in INAV land, it also gives you these guides here on the screen, which show me the edge of the visual field that I can put things in. I can't put things below this purple line because that's where the status information for Walksnail is displayed. And also, this is where the recording icon is in the view as well. So INAV does a beautiful job of making sure that we can avoid those two areas. So I've laid out everything pretty much as I would normally. I may come back in here, I may get rid of the variometer and the other pieces, but I've just dragged it around so that I'm happy and click Save. Quick tip while we are in here. If you are playing with analog FPV and you are flashing a flight controller that maybe used to be Betaflight to INAV or vice versa, always remember to update your fonts. The fonts are probably going to be wrong. I see this lots of times where the fonts appear weird and wacky with question marks and stuff. INAV has a superset of what you will find in things like Betaflight because of all the navigation stuff. I use the sneaky FPV fonts in my goggles and they look absolutely fantastic. So with everything dragged around as you want it, click on Save and then you're set. The only other thing in here that I tend to do, change the units. I like them as imperial units. You know, the British Empire is where all this stuff came from. I still think about altitude in feet and think about speed in miles an hour. So I change it to that as well. So with that all set, then we can go back on the bench and do the final setup and configuration to make sure the on-screen display appears in the image like it does here in INAV. So here is everything installed. We have the camera at the front that you've already seen. The Walksnail unit is now mounted on the 3D printable support that's behind the nose. I've just a little bead of hot glue is keeping these antennas in a couple of recesses. That means that when I actually fit the canopy, they're kind of held in place nicely. Power cable runs along the top with the JST connector. I have also, with that JST connector, just plugged a battery in and triple checked that it outputs 9 volts from the flight controller back here, which it should do, but it's always worthwhile checking. I have destroyed a Walksnail unit in the past by connecting it backwards. Happens to all of us. Luckily, the Walksnail warranty service is exceptional, so they fix it for me. So thank you, Walksnail, for that. But I have tested it. The signals are here at the bottom. I think I've got them the right way round, but we're about to find out. So we're going to connect it for the first time on camera. So we need to power the system, and we also need to power the goggles as well. So let me power the goggles first. And what we're hoping is that not only will the system come on, which I'm pretty confident it will, because the 9 volts from the flight controller is going to power the system up, but also that we get the on-screen display. So let me just also plug this in. The way I do this here, you will also be hearing lots of extra beeps. I've added a beeper into the back here and plugged it into the 5 volts and BZ minus pins. Just a simple 5 volts piezoelectric buzzer. Really important that a buzzer is on an INAV plane like this. Right, once it's all set up and ready and everything's booted, then let's plug in the Walksnail unit and hopefully I will see it in the goggles. So this is my normal kind of startup routine. However, at the field, I would actually wait for the GPS to lock first. No on-screen display at the moment, but I'm not too worried about that. Let's unplug everything. Let me swap the transmit and receive pins because they might be the wrong way around. I thought I'd triple check that, but maybe I've got that wrong. So with that swapped, let's try it again. And this time we can see that there is an on-screen display. And you know what? This is the kind of thing that happens all the time. It's very easy when you're trying to make all of the bits and pieces nice and neat that you might accidentally plug things in. But hopefully you can see here that we have an on-screen display. Everything is laid out. My radio isn't on, and that's why at the moment it's saying no RC link, unable to arm. So that means that everything is working. The flight controller and everything else set up. We're pretty much ready to go to the field and try this for real. So with the walk snell unit now installed into the nose, this thing is ready to take to the field and take for a flight. I might do, after the maiden flight, a supplementary video to collect all of my pro tips and tricks for INAV in one place, because to be honest, I get the same questions over and over again and some people get a little bit confused. But hopefully you can see this has turned out incredibly well. I'm really happy with it and I'm excited to see it fly. I might try it initially on 4S, like my other Dolphin, just to make sure that she's happy and everything is all tickety-boo, and then have the option to potentially go up to 6S and other things. Standard V configuration on the nose for the antennas, both the internal ones for the receiver and the external ones for walk snail. The only other thing I've done is I've added a little catch here at the back, just to stop this hatch popping open. Again, I'll put everything that I've 3D printed on here, and there's been quite a few little bits as I've modified everything on the Thingiverse page. So join me next time. We'll go to the field and I'll go through my maiden routine. Very briefly, it's going to be the same as always. We're going to launch it in auto launch. We're going to fly it around in horizon mode initially, let everything be trimmed up, all the servos and everything. Once that's done, check it in manual and maybe do a little bit of the auto trim stuff so that the nose up attitude is perfect. I'm going to set it the same as my other Dolphin. I think it's about 2.3 degrees up, something like that. But after that, that'll be the end of the series. So join me next time. Let's get this thing in the air and actually fly it. Thank you for watching my video. Check out the playlist, and adding Painless 360 to your search terms will help you find my content. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. You can support the time I spend here answering questions and helping others by using the links in the video description.